Hi class, it's Dr. Lindner again. So what I want to do now is show you the general flow of the course. We're going to go through one module because the information that you'll see in this one module is the same information that you're going to see module 2. When I say module, a module is a week's work. So we'll go through week 1. The same type of flow will follow you through week 2, 3, all the way to the end of the course. It'll have the same exact moving parts. Okay, so here's the welcome, right? This is my introduction message to you, which is here. As we scroll down a little bit further, here is the online syllabus, the grading policy, the exam policy that's on there, and the late submission policy, along with the required textbook. Everything is there, okay? I go over that with you here in this syllabus Panopto video. So you can keep that open, or you can just follow along with the video that I made using Panopto. As we move down, here is the rubric for the Panopto PowerPoint presentation term project, and you can also print that up so you have a hard copy of it if you'd like. And then here is the Panopto video presentation that I do, simply going over that rubric. Okay, as we move down, here is the case study rubric. Remember, each week there are at least 2 case studies, and this little video presentation is me going over a case study and going over the rubric and sharing how you earn maximum points. Great. Then here is the announcements, and under the announcements is where I actually post a topic that allows you to choose your presentation, what topic you want. You could see it says here you will choose a topic for your presentation. Once chosen, you can't change it. So I want you to review the rubric first, look at all the different moving parts to it, feel confident in the topic that you're choosing. Then you can post it here and it'll be approved. It can't be a presentation or a paper that you've already done in a prior class or in your academic career, because when it goes through Turnitin, it will flag for self-plagiarism. So you want to choose something interesting that's relevant so that you can learn and grow. Okay, let's go back here and let's see where else we're at. Okay, so that's what you'll find under the announcement. Okay, let's make sure we're at the right place. Okay, we did the Panopto presentation, the case study rubric, and then announcements. All right, now that all the housekeeping stuff is done, let's look at week 1. Sometimes I use the word module. Module 1, week 1, module 2, week 2, same thing in my language, okay? So here's the week 1. There's a checklist that you can use, and we'll do that afterwards. Here's the week 1 instructions and the learning goals. So from chapter 1, explain the role of pathophysiology in the diagnosis and treatment of disease, use the terminology appropriate for pathophysiology, describe the common cellular adaptations, list the common causes of cellular damage, describe the common type of cell death. All of those topics are covered in the chapter 1, in the chapter 1 video lecture that I'll do on Panopto. Chapter 5 has these learning outcomes that you will walk away with. Okay, so the learning goals you'll see for each week, it will pertain to that information. If you want the checklist, here's the checklist. Did you do the week 1 instructions? Did you look at the PowerPoint, which was chapter 1 PowerPoint introduction, the chapter 5 PowerPoint? Did you watch the 2 lectures, one that goes along with the PowerPoint for chapter 1, the other that goes along with the PowerPoint for chapter 5? Did you do the practice quiz, which I'll go over with you now, which requires the Respondus lockdown browser and the webcam, And did you do the 2 case studies, one on dysplasia, one on burns? So that's your checklist to kind of keep you in sync with everything. Here's the week 1 instructions. Each week there'll be instructions. Reading, okay, you'll take out your textbook, and here chapter 1, you'll be reading pages 1 through 13. For chapter 5, pages 65 to 86. These are the 2 PowerPoints. You can print them up. You don't have to print them up. It's up to you. Some people like to write notes. Some people like to type notes. Completely up to you. And then we have the case studies that you'll do. One on dysplasia and one on burns. All right, so there's the instructions. Each week, you'll see the learning instructions, which I just did, and the learning goals. Here are the learning goals. Here is the week 1 instruction. Then these are the reading activities and handout. The readings are in the textbook. The activities are going to be, here's the PowerPoint for chapter 1. These are the topics that are covered, which match with the mapping to the learning goals above. Here is chapter 5 PowerPoint. This will match up with the learning goals from above as well. You will watch the chapter 1 lecture video, the chapter 5 lecture video. So far, so good, right? Okay, weekly graded assessments. For this week, there is a Respondus Lockdown Browser practice quiz. This ensures that you've downloaded properly the Respondus Lockdown Monitor, and it will walk you through the steps of doing a proper practice quiz environment scan. It will walk you through the proper additional instructions that you have to keep in mind. The key is I want you to do this practice quiz, which is about 2 or 3 questions based on the syllabus, blah, 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 nothing crazy. I want you to take this quiz as if it was a real exam, because I go through your environment scans. I will make sure that you're doing each step properly. I'll go through the additional instructions, make sure that you complied and followed it perfectly. So these instructions here, you will see pop up as after you download the Lockdown Respondus Monitor and you want to take the exam, it will prompt you to put your face in the field of view. It'll ask you to show your student ID. It will make sure that it matches, otherwise the exam won't open. It recognizes who you are if you're registered in the class with the ID. Then it'll ask you to do an environment scan. The next prompt. You have to take your camera or your laptop with the camera and scan the room 360 degrees slowly. All the walls. There can't be any dry erase boards with notes on them, no cork boards with stickies. It has to be covered. So you have to do it slowly as well. Not a quick scan, nice and slow and steady. You have to scan the ceiling above you. You have to scan the floor underneath your desk. And you have to scan your desk from corner to corner, front to back. There can't be anything on your desk. It has to be clear, clean, nothing. Okay? If you have another monitor, it's got to be off and covered. There can't be notes, there can't be books, there can't be smartphone. It would be like taking a test on campus. We would say clear off your desks, right? No hats, no earphones, no smartwatches, etc. All right, so the scan has to be slow and thorough. Failure to follow the procedures will earn you a failing grade for the exam. Additional instructions. Don't cover your face. We covered this already in the syllabus, right? Don't cover your face. You can't do this during an exam. You have to be in the field of view at all times, looking straight ahead. If you're a person that likes to look around and think, just close your eyes. Because if you do this or do this, it makes it questionable, right? You don't want to do that. You can't have access to any notes, no smartwatches, no smartphones on the table, no books, no notes, right? Otherwise, it defeats the whole purpose of the monitor and the lockdown browser. You have to make sure your audio works. You can't have one of these plugged in because it blocks the audio. You will lose points for that as well. You can't sit on a bed or a couch because then you start sinking in and your face falls out of the field of view. A stationary chair and a stationary desk. Even if it's a coffee table, that's fine as long as there's room for your computer to sit on it. Use the bathroom before the exam starts. You can have a glass of water. You can have tissues, just stuff so you don't have to get up and leave because the timer does continually move. Don't have a bright light behind you. Don't have a window. Even if you have shades there, you can't do that. So find another place that just has a wall behind you. If you do use a sheet of paper because you like to write on the scratch paper, you need to show the paper front and back to the camera before the exam starts, and you have to show it front and back slowly so the camera can see what's on it before the final submit button. If you fail to do that, you lose 10 points off the top. You have to submit that as if it was part of the exam, just like if you were on campus. All the paper that you write on has to be handed in and becomes a part of the official document. So all this stuff is just common sense, nothing extreme. We're just trying to create the same type of environment that we have on campus as we do for an online course. That's standard, not for Adelphi University, for every major college and university across the nation. I teach at several, and this is the same policy that we use at all universities across the board. Okay? All right, then what else do we have here? Then there's the case studies. You'll open them up, you'll submit, and then you'll see week 2, similar thing. There's the checklist. Here's the week 2 instructions and learning goals. So here's the learning goals, and then here are the instructions. The reading activities has the PowerPoints, and it has the multimedia, which are my videos that follow along with it. And the grading assessment, here is the first exam using the lockdown browser. The other graded assessment are the case studies that you would then upload to week 2. And it's the same thing all the way to the end of the term. Okay? So the moving parts are always listen to the lectures, follow along with the PowerPoints. There'll be an exam usually every other week or so, or pretty close to it, and the case studies. And that's it. In week 13, you'll have to upload your Panopto video for grading for the term project. Okay, so again, watch the video for the lectures, have the PowerPoints that go along with it, make sure you do the case studies, and every other week or so, there'll be an exam. That's pretty much it. And then in week 13, again, you will have the upload for the presentation for Panopto. That should not be a last-minute preparation. You should work on it throughout the term nice and slowly so that you're not cramming at the very end, right? Each week, focus on one part of the rubric. That's a nice, easy way of doing it. And there's 10 parts to it, right? 10 parts, 10 points, that equals 100. So if it takes you 10 weeks, you did one part of the rubric each week, that's not stressing out. If you save it for the very end, you're going to feel the pressure, and I don't want you to do that. You want to do it time management, nice and relaxed throughout the term. I will also provide, they're not up there yet, but I promise that I will put up review sessions. It'll be a recorded review that will go along the major topics that you should be familiar with that you'll see on the test. I don't read you the questions, but I will go over the main concepts, so that should guide and help. I do that for all of my courses. It really tends to help a lot of my students. And I think that's it. I think you'll really enjoy the course. It's very structured. It's very organized. It has a nice flow. It's got the same moving parts every week, so there's no curveballs. There's nothing confusing. You should be comfortable with the layout, and you know how to reach me should you need to reach me. Okay, everyone?